We turn now to the forecast because we've been keeping a close eye on some storm activity. We mentioned earlier the movie theater, maybe folks wanting to be indoors, inside activities versus outside during some of the days here in the coming days, Brittany.
Yes, Vanessa, I feel like today and tomorrow could be days still that you can get outside. You just have to dodge a few storms, especially tomorrow and onwards. But Friday, all the way really through next week, we're going to be dodging a lot of rain and storms, but a lot of clouds will also keep it a little bit cooler. So it's kind of an opposite there, 1-2 punch. But today, most of the storm activity was to our north. Tomorrow, a little bit more expansive across the metro. So the time frame here, about 2 to 8 p.m. The impact is going to be strong to severe storm activity. Now, is this just run-of-the-mill thunderstorms? Not necessarily. This is just a little bit of a notch above what we typically do see during the summertime here in the Charlotte area. But Friday beyond into next week, yes, that's a little bit more run-of-the-mill. So what do you need to do? Well, we say it all the time. When thunder roars, move indoors, stay weather aware. If you hear thunder, you see lightning, that's when you know it's not safe to be outside and you should go indoors. And also avoid kind of driving at the worst time of the day. You know how it is. You get caught in the downpours and it is just not fun to drive through those. You know, the car starts shaking, all that. The best tool to have, WCNC Charlotte mobile app. You can, of course, track the rain live right along with us. Now, WCNC Doppler showing that severe thunderstorm warning I told you about just a few minutes ago did cancel as of 6:15. That was when it was expected to, and it broke down a lot. You can actually see just some light to moderate rain across the metro now. Still expected to see it approaching Cabarrus, Midland, just around 6:45 or so, but it is, of course, weakening substantially as it does so. Other than that, we do, of course, have some pockets of really heavy rain with some of these storms there in York County and Chester County. But you can actually see a new severe thunderstorm warning was issued for parts here of Kershaw and Lancaster County. I'm going to walk over for a second to just show you that this is a tiny, tiny, tiny little sliver of Lancaster County, which is why we are included in this right now. So you can kind of see just a tiny little sliver here of Lancaster County, tiny little sliver here of Chesterfield County, and that's why, of course, you're getting probably that alert to your phone if you're in either of these counties. Now, you can, of course, track this out for you live. This would be approaching places near Kershaw right around 7:15, Bethune around the same time frame. So do I think this is going to impact most of Lancaster and Chesterfield County? Absolutely not, since it's only the small little end sliver of those counties. But especially if you're on the southern end, make sure you're keeping a close eye on that. Other than that, really heavy rain. If you're north of I-40, especially in Caldwell County, you can see that toward Lenoir, north of Morganton and Burke County, and even some downpours developing on the edge of Watauga and Caldwell County at this hour. We only have a few more storms to dodge this evening, and then overall tomorrow, I just think more activity starts around 2 o'clock for the mountains and foothills, eventually shifts toward the south and east as we progress throughout the day. So really the storms didn't kick off until about 4 o'clock or so for most of the metro today and tomorrow. Again, I just think they're earlier, a little bit more widespread, and that's why I want you to stay weather aware. Other than that, though, again, I don't think it's going to be a substantial risk. We're talking just a step above run-of-the-mill thunderstorms. Gusty winds, the primary impact there. We could see some small hail, but no rotation, that is, so no tornado threat. Very thankful for that. The threat really as we transition into next week is going to be a low pressure system that situates right over us. That's why we have more rain chances. That's why we have more clouds, and that will just result overall in more opportunities for rain, which as of now is fantastic because we're still under drought conditions. But by the end of next week, we are going to have to watch for just some isolated flooding in a few spots. So here's your Guy Roofing 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, we still want you to stay weather aware due to that chance for some strong to severe storms. 91 the high temperature. It'll feel like the upper 90s, kind of like it did today. And then after that, we are transitioning to more 80s in the forecast. It'll still be humid. We still have storms. It's just because of the clouds, the 80s will stick around for most of the upcoming week, eventually transitioning back to the 90s by the end of the 10-day. But even though it's humid, definitely get out and enjoy the 80s if you can. Of course, we'll have to dodge some storms, but it's that time of the year, Vanessa. July in the Carolinas.
Yeah.